and Dust 2 as being kind of the core maps. Or we talk about Dust 2 in the past, at least. Not so much anymore, being that it is a little bit of a newer map coming back into the pool. Some players might not necessarily be so prepared for it these days. But look, here we are into the first map. Optic India up against Revolution. And for both of these two teams, a pretty key match. Obviously, it is an elimination game, but both of them really are teams, I think, that I want to kind of set their mark in this region, and they have the opportunity to do so here. I'd be leaning towards Optic India, just from what I've been hearing around the place. I do feel as though coming into this, they look like a little bit more of an informed side, but Revolution could definitely surprise.
Yeah, I mean, we see a good start on the pistol round here from Optic India. They picked up the first frag there at Banana, I think it was, and it's really hard on Inferno here to hold with just a 4v5 against pistols, like in the pistol round, sorry. So it looks like Revolution have just gone for a stack towards the B bomb site. They've got that one player playing an arch, covering just the jungle cross there, but it's just going to be the one player here against 3 today.
Yeah, that is not going to be too fun at all for T, because this is like, if you're going to get one frag here, you're feeling pretty happy. But if you're going to have to deal with 3 players, I feel like that's impossible. Even with the dual Berettas, you have to get extremely lucky to find all the 3 kills here, as they do waterfall out onto the A-bomb site. But we'll see. It's going to take a little time, by the looks of things, for Optic India to actually make their move. Going to throw some smoke grenades into the B-bomb site. Haven throwing there as well alongside YB. So it's a fake into the B site. Haven is going to be the one that will charge in, and T is going to have a look into the A site right now. He's made some noise. Oh, the timing is so bad. Look at that. That's perfect from Optic India.
Yeah, that's a great fake there. So the one player just committing in. It took him such a long time to die there on the B bomb site. So, you know, you've just got the 2 players there who were stuck there for so much time. And yeah, bad, unlucky timing there for T. He really thought that they were committing to the B bomb site there. I assume that was comm to him. So just an unfortunate round there, and really well played by Optic India. Yeah,
nice little shot there, though, from Rambutan, coming back in from Library, and a chance now for Optic India in the 3v3. Obviously, that bomb has been ticking away pretty quickly, and that does not look like it's going to go too nicely at all, as they're going to be shut down very, very easily. Optic India getting the first pistol round. Always nice to start off on the T side with your pistol.
Yeah, it's always good. You can build up the economy there, and on the CT side, even with this new, you know, money change, it is so difficult for them to get the economy rolling. So for the T side, pistol round such a huge win.
Indeed, but that does mean that they want to close this next round out without suffering too much of a loss. A little bit of an investment from Revolution. I'm pretty sure Crazy Guy is going to be the one that's taking the AWP, given the fact that he has saved through the majority of the cash there.
Yeah, this looks like a pretty standard just anti-eco round. They're just taking control of carps, clearing it out together, which is good, because that is an area where the pistols can get a lot of damage done. And then just taking Banana with minimal utilities also, you know, just taking it slow, clearing up the map, finding the frags where they can against these pistols. It's looking like they just want to take mid-control here and possibly end up at A.
Well, it looks like they have taken mid-control, and very shortly will be ending up at A. Brackets now in the favour of Optic India, and they still have quite a lot of utility. They didn't really use too much to get control of that area of the map, but somehow Haven has managed to sneak his way up close to the B bomb site. He'll be able to clean up those 2 players, and, well, now just 1 player left. I mean, really, in this case, the safe play would have been to go to the B bomb site, but at that point, it really doesn't matter for Optic India. A very, very nicely executed anti-eco, and I think, like, when I was sort of researching this Optic India roster and kind of looking around the place and seeing what people are saying about them, obviously I went to have a look at what Blair was saying on his Twitter, because he's obviously the resident expert on Indian Counter-Strike, and he was sort of saying that they're a very, very strategic heavy team. At least the fact that they brought this European in-game leader in has very much helped them out, and the guys were never really considered as like the best players within India, but having added this in-game leader has really helped them out, and I think you can kind of already start to see that having an effect, even in these rounds. Like, they're playing with the rotations of Revolution already quite a bit, even only after just the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, they've been tactically pretty impressive so far. The pistol round was just a great strat, executed perfectly, and the anti-ecos with no bodies lost is actually really, really rare in this current like climate of CSGO. Usually you'll see, you know, 2 or 3 people die, if not the round loss, going over to the pistols, since it is getting harder and harder to navigate these 4 spies. But yeah, they've gone for a clean 3-0 here, only losing, I think, like 3 players over the 3 rounds, so yeah, that is a really good start.
Crazy Guy going to go straight into the AWP, and it is glass cannon AWP out for him, so that's not ideal. Big distinct lack of utility, and Malta, I know we always talk about the utility here on Inferno as being such a key thing on the CT side. I mean, are we just sort of making things up, or from a player's perspective, how important is it?
Yeah, so usually with my team, we'll never really force buy into the those eco rounds because the utility on this map is so important. Like, basically, banana control on this map is like what wins you and loses you the round. So if the CTs have it, the Ts need to try and retake it, otherwise they can cheat forward towards the A bomb site. And without the utility there to take it on the CT side, or without the utility to retake it on the T side, it's just so difficult. So looks like even though they took banana control, Optic India just went for a fast mid strat here, which is another really good read that because they have low utility and they're using a lot towards B, it's most likely 3 people B.
That's an unfortunate name battle loss for Haven. It would have been the round in the favour of Optic India if he did win that. But now a chance for Revolution, to be fair. A tough one, especially considering Ramtown has now been taken down, but into the 1v1. Antidote will drop Fog. What a round. He gets that incredibly crucial aim battle in mid and then gets 2 on the clutch in the 2v1 as well. And that is the round for Revolution, a round that really didn't look like it was going to go their way.
Yeah, it was a good retake there. Obviously, Fog picking up those 3 kills is huge, a huge play from him. So yeah, good first gun round there from Revolution. Unfortunately, it's left them with really, really poor utility. Like, they're going into this buy with probably pistols, maybe some SMGs. Whereas on the side of Optic India, because they weren't losing those kills in the early force buy rounds, they've got so much bank to work with.
Yeah, there is going to be the MAC 10 coming out from Haven, but with that said, a couple of players without head armor, you know, some weaker guns here on the Revolution side. I think the MAC 10 can still have an impact depending on where it is used, maybe as a waterfall out from carpets or something like that. Jumping into pit definitely can have its uses there. It looks like India, they're just going to take the contact play. The trades are no good. Fog, he's come up huge. 3-man spray down, coming in from the cutout. And Optic India, well, this round is falling by the wayside.
Yeah, I think in that round they're just looking to kind of take the aim duels with the weaponry that they've got because they know that the CT side are on a poor buy, but they've just read that wrong and let the jungle player get way too many kills in that round. But still, Hyven here, 2 MAC 10 kills.
Well, that's all been shut down now because the bomb has been dropped in a very bad position. A little unfortunate that there was a player coming in from jungle at that time, but to be fair, could have gone around the safe route, and what on earth is that? 4 kills, he's nutty.
That is crazy, and that you can't help but feel like Revolution really, that was their round to lose there.
Oh yeah, it was.
It was really, really unlucky timing. They made a good play, flashing and pushing together, but I think unfortunately the AWPer just missed the shot, and the MAC 10 reigned supreme.
MAC 10 OP. How much money he made out of that round, and the fact that they still win.
That was a crazy round there from Hyven.
Yeah, Fog's going to be disappointed after starting off so well, winning the clutch and then starting that round with 2 kills. Well,
3 kills, yeah, that was a 2v5 there.
Oh dear.
4 kills with the MAC 10, and the CTs had the head armor as well, so it really was just, I think, just a poorly played round there from Revolution after getting the advantage. But yeah, now it's left them on a poor force buy here, but they have found the first kill.
Yeah. Optic India seeming to like this contact play up toward brackets, but I think Revolution is starting to cotton on to that a little bit, and they're punishing them for it.
Yeah, going dry up mid when you have full utility and the superior weaponry is somewhat of a questionable decision. You know, you do have flashbangs, you do have smokes and mollies to try and disable any CTs playing close. But I guess they're just trying to get up in the face of Revolution and, you know, not give them any chance to get into this kind of, you know, get into the game here, but hasn't really worked out for them.
This is going to be a run boost.
Yeah, I think up onto quad.
Oh, he made it, kind of.
Helped him up right there at the end.
Don't think you're going to be expecting someone to come from this position, to be honest. They'll drop off, make a little bit of noise, and that's going to force the peek out from the CT. Fog as well, still playing in the cutout here. Hasn't been mollied off or anything like that. There's so much utility here for Optic India that is not being used. 1-for-1 on the B bomb site will actually open it up. Haven does manage to get the 1, and T on the rotation across, but now this is starting to look winnable for Revolution, especially if this kill goes the way of T, and it's, I've got to be honest, this is pretty sloppy, I think, from Optic India.
Yeah, they've got all the utility in the world, or they did have at the start of the round, but now it's looking like neither team has utility. They've got 1 flashbang here. T picks up another kill with the drop Dacre here, and yeah, so the round really just fell apart there for Optic India.
Disappointing, but nice for Revolution, of course, because they probably shouldn't have lost the previous round before that. So I guess all's fair in love and war here between Optic and Revolution. Going to be a technical pause out by the looks of things. I'm not sure what the issue is exactly. We'll talk about the little buy here that Optic India are getting through, though. It's going to be a forced buy. They know that the CT economy is pretty precarious. I mean, a Revolution actually could afford to buy through here if they do lose. Depends if they take 1 or 2 guns through, and that could, you know, change how good the buy is going to be. But it definitely could be worse for Revolution.
Yeah, we're seeing the Mac-10 again here on Hyven, which obviously in the first gun round was had huge impact. So he's obviously feeling pretty confident on that gun. Apart from that, the 2 CZs can actually be really, really good if they take them towards either Nana or Cops. So it's not the worst buy in the world here for Optic India. But both teams really just running on low funds. So whoever wins this round is going to be in a pretty commanding position.
That said, you can't expect the same kind of an impact out of the Mac-10 as what we saw in the,
definitely
the 4K round. Like, that was something that's really only going to be 1 in a million, really. In the end, though, it's at least a weapon in the hands of Haven that we've already seen he can use effectively. This time, everybody on Revolution has got head armor. There's a lot of utility across the board again. That is going to be a bit of an advantage. Let's see how the CTs use this utility and how they're going to control Banana. That's the key part here on Inferno.
So it's looking like 3 going towards second mid, which isn't a standard default here for Optic India. So it looks like they're going for something quite fast in the Carps area. This could just be a waterfall strat again, like they did on the pistol round, but more of a gun round type one. So with one playing Dig and one playing Jungle, if they can catch this pit player, it's a really, really strong kill.
Well, Haven again having an impact with the Mac-10 CZ now chiming in. That's a great shot from Marzel. Getting the snap straight onto the head of Fog, who has really been the danger man on the side of Revolution so far. Crazy Guy and T. At this point, I think you probably want to be saving these 2 guns through. There's not really much point trying to retake 4v2. And with the money the way that it is, Revolution, I don't know. I think they might have just put a little bit too much into this round that will now mean that they can't actually buy in the next. But at least you'll have an AWP and an AK to play with.
I think just due to the money bonus that they're going to get from this next round, they might just force into it because I think they're only going to get 1,500 from the win, from the loss, sorry. And with the pistols in the last round, they did manage to scrounge together the round win. So they're probably feeling pretty confident on the CZs. If they can get, you know, pistol armor and some utility on 3 of these players with the 2 that have saved, then it's going to be a decent buy here. Inferno lends itself a lot to saving utility late in the round and then playing behind that like a smoke with the CZs. So definitely might see a buy here from Revolution. Yeah,
true. It'll just be a force buy though. So, comes out. See what Rambutan is going to be able to get here. Deagle, that'll allow him a little bit of utility, a smoke as well. I mean, not too bad, really, across the board for Revolution. Like, they have utility here that they can use to stall Optic India, and only a couple of players that don't, quote-unquote, have a gun. We know the CZ and the Deagle can do a lot of damage, so I think it's definitely workable here for Revolution. Thing is, though, like, their money's so low again. Optic India's up 5-2 already. You let this round go the way of Optic, it's going to be a reset for Revolution, and we're going to just see this half fall by the wayside for Revolution, and that's exactly what it seems like it might just happen here. Rambutan can't quite calibrate on with the Deagle, and now he's being pushed from all angles. He'll drop to the CZ, and Antidote is going to get that bomb down on the A-bomb site.
Optic India are really committing to this fast mid-take that they're doing, where even though Revolution are smoking mid right at the start of the round, they're just pop-flashing through and just rushing through 2 jungle, 1 up dig. So they're really just catching the CTs off guard there. I think maybe you know, throwing appropriate flashbangs to do that as well. But yeah, it's a great mid-take, and it looks like Revolution just can't stop it right now.
Definitely have to agree. Even though some of these rounds have been close, Revolution just can't quite manage to find that tipping point where they're actually able to win the round over Optic India. And now they're kind of stuck in that kind of scary spiral where you end up having to save guns through round after round after round, and your money never really recovers, but you're always like, oh, we might be able to buy if we save the AWP and the AK. This time they're under pressure. The Molotov is going to get Crazy Guy. T will likely get through alive here with the AK. I'm not sure how much help that really is going to be for Revolution at this point.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to see a full save here from Revolution. I think you just want to, at this point, give the Ts the rounds that they're going to get from you ecoing and just try and balance your money out here, because you can't keep trying to win the round with win the rounds with just CZs and smokes and stuff. Like, it will happen every now and again, but it's better to hedge your bets and, you know, get your economy back on order.
I would agree, but taking eco rounds when you're down 2 and 6, that can't feel good at all, I would imagine.
Definitely not. I think this Inferno is probably more of like a 9-6 map, so 9 to the terrorist and 6 to the counter terrorist. So I think after, like, it's getting to the point now where you're feeling a lot of pressure. Like, they really need to start winning rounds. But obviously, you know, they also do need to get their money in order. Otherwise, it's just going to keep going downhill.
Yeah, very, very slight investment in some utility and a little bit to buy behind the AK, a couple of pistols, that kind of thing. But it's really a very, very meager buy for Revolution. So if there is going to be a round one here for them, or even some damage being done, we really have to keep our eyes on T, because he's the only one that can really challenge, and already taking a little bit of damage. That's not a great start. Grenade will follow up and do just a little bit more. So now he's down to almost 50% HP. We'll take the peek off the flashbang here and try and recover some control of Banana. Haven just walks right into his crosshair.
Yeah, that's a great first pick up there. It puts a lot of pressure on the mid guys here, and if they run in too quick towards the A players, then, you know, these P250s can do a lot of damage. It only takes 2 shots, so...
I wonder if Revolution is going to read that, because Haven has been the one that's been faking over to B quite a lot. It doesn't look like they've rotated the extra player across to A. It might, in the end, be their undoing, as it is going to still be 2v3 on the entry here, and none of the weapons actually on the site right now for Revolution. Unfortunately for them, Optic's just going to be able to run over it. But I thought maybe because of the fact that Haven goes down there, he has been the one that's sort of just been the kind of lurking guy around the B-bomb site, trying to do some damage over there. I feel like maybe if you get that frag in a round like this, you see that it's Haven, you say, okay, we've got a kill. Let's rotate someone over. Let's take that gamble, see if we can make something happen on the A-bomb side. Because I feel like that's really the only way that you win that round. In the end, they don't. They take the standard play. They keep the 2 players on B, and Optic just run over A.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
it's not like it's a problem, right? But it's like, could have happened.
I think or
am I just reading into this too much?
No,
Is that
no.
something that doesn't happen?
I think in pistol rounds, especially in one where you pick up the first kill at one site with the one saved gun, so, you know, you've only got the one AK-47 and it's at B. The T's are obviously, my reaction as a player would be, okay, we should go A, because we know there's only the one gun and it's at B right now, so we can take jungle quickly. So if T had just instantly rotated off there, and even if they just completely left B and made the gamble, it's a better bet that, you know, if the T's go A, you have 5 there, and you have the gun there.
My theory is at least that gives you a chance. Like, sure, maybe you gamble wrong. It's kind of like a 50-50 opportunity, then to have an opportunity to actually win the round, sorry. But if you don't rotate, it's like you're going to potentially hope that they come into you into the B bomb site, and then you can spray down multiple with the AK in a 2v5 situation. Or if you're going to have 4 players over on A and they run into the A bomb site, and you could maybe trade out with the pistols. I feel like there's a better opportunity there. Then again, I'm not a professional CSGO player, so what do I know?
Nah, you know what? You're right on track, Jordan. I agree with you with it.
Thanks,
in that round at least. But
you
in the
agree
end,
with me on everything I say on broadcast. That's very
yeah,
appreciated.
it's because you're my only friend.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the end of the day, it's just a gamble. So, you know, they made the wrong one. It's unfortunate, but...
It happens, right? Like, I think we're probably harping on about it a little
way
bit too
long,
much.
yeah.
But to be fair, there's not a whole lot actually happening in this round. Optic India have gotten control of brackets, but aside from that, not too much banana control for Revolution. They're at least having a peek in there, but Optic India now taking a look as well and forcing them back off their line.
So they've taken this fast mid control, but they're just turtling up now, which is really nice to see. They've gone back and they're punishing the aggression at Nana, which is kind of how you want to play this map. You want to take one area and then like hold, well, you leave a few players to hold that area of the map, and then go back and retake I guess Banana here in this round. And now, as you can see, that's forced the rotation there from Crazy Guy to go back to CT. So now there's no AWP at A, and it's a 5v2 here.
Jason going to be stepping up with 1 kill. That's the bomb dropped as well. If the next goes his way, there's a chance to hold on. Optic need to find this kill, and they do. Maybe it's taken them a little bit too long. The rotation coming across now from Revolution. We can see Crazy Guy already in a reasonable spot with that AWP, but I think he might have gotten spotted going into the cutout. So smoke's going to come down. Bombs drop down on the site for Optic. Going to just wait this one out. T rotating around the side. It's a very split kind of a retake on the side. I'll ask you about this in a second, because I always find it interesting how teams do tend to retake the A bomb site. But at least the option for Revolution this time is that they're going to go 1 from each angle. It's not going to work out too well. Now sometimes we see those players split up and wrap around. Sometimes we see them go together. What's the difference? What's the choice there? Like, why have they gone for that as opposed to running in together?
It's super hard with an AWP and a rifle to push in through mini. Even just with 2 rifles to push in through mini. It's such an easy... there's so many like headshot lines on site that the Ts can play. And then also, if there's one in pit, which there usually will be, they can just swing and trade frag anyone who's on site. So going dig and trying to sneak up on the site is generally like a pretty good option, but the A side of Inferno is really very difficult to retake in a 2v2 or, you know, a 2v3.
Yeah, definitely. We often see it fall by the wayside, but good start to this round now for Revolution, and the first time in a long time that they've actually had that player advantage. Antidote also knocked it down pretty low after being legged by the AWP. So this is how you're going to win a round like this. When you have a bit of a poorer buy, a lack of utility, you find that opening frag and play out the 5v4.
Yeah, that's really good. Well played there from Crazy Guy, smoking the molly and then just, you know, finding that first kill and then also getting the leg here on the Optic India AWPer. And it's also allowed Revolution here to rotate another player towards the A bomb site, which is actually, like, as a CT, that's your goal at Banana. So leaving the AWPer here, he can get one kill, fall off, next line, kill someone else.
Oh, could have been under a little bit of pressure there, Crazy Guy, but he's managed to get out okay. We're going to see some utility thrown in here by Optic India, but they need to charge into that site, try and take the 1v2s. In the end, Fog will find YB, and across the board, everyone on Optic India running into that B bomb site has just fallen down. Marzil, the last alive in a 4v1, doesn't have control of the bomb. So at this point, damage to the CT economy is the name of the game.
Yeah, as you can see, the CTs have only like $400 to their name on each player. Every kill he gets here is, again, just another player without utility. And on a map like Inferno, it's just so important that Revolution here keeps their money up. They need these 3 players to stay alive. It looks like they've gone for the double, or they want to take a double AWP setup into the next map. Oh, sorry, into the next round. Marzil taking out 2 CTs in a 1v4, which is huge damage.
Double AWP will go through, but still, you look across the rest of the players, like there is very, very low amounts of money. If Optic just win this, then like the half is done. It's absolutely done. This is the problem we were talking about before the broadcast started. Like sometimes on the CT side, you don't even really get that chance to have many gun rounds. I think Revolution have probably had like 1 or 2 actual proper gun rounds where they've had an AWP and they've had rifles and they've had a reasonable amount of utility. A lot of the other ones have just been kind of like force half buys. This one's looking okay again, but you've got a glass cannon AWP, you've got a FAMAS in there, the utility's okay, but it's not great. So pretty important one here for Revolution.
Yeah, this is a huge round. Both teams out of money now, so even though Optic India managed to string together like 8 rounds in a row, I think they haven't had their money on track because they've been taking a lot of damage from the force buys. So this is such an important round. It really will dictate the rest of the half. You know, if Optic India win this, we could be seeing a 12-3, 11-4. But if Revolution win it, then 8-7 is not really that far-fetched.
No, absolutely not. So it is a bit of a make or break for both of these 2 teams. And Optic India have defaulted back toward the A-bomb site where they have had so much success up to this point. Still a minute on the clock, though, and they're not 100% convinced that the A site is where they want to be going. So going to be just heading back down to the bottom of the mid, putting a little bit more presence in toward Banana, as they did. This is very similar to the last gun round that we saw. They took control of brackets, then they started to push back into Banana, trying to take control of both areas of the map and really restrict the information from Revolution.
Yeah, this time though, Revolution actually haven't been drawn. It's only just now that the jungle player has been drawn back, which is exactly what Optic India were trying to achieve with that that pressure they're putting on Banana there. So they've got 2 players up close dig, just ready. That is unlucky there. Forsaken getting sprayed down through the smoke.
Does happen, unfortunately, and unfortunately for Optic India, things are not looking too great on their entry into the site. Antidote at least able to trade one back. Marzil's in a good spot here. Oh no, Fog. What? He's hit a crazy shot. Marzil just missing everything, and that's given a chance here to Revolution. But Haven, he'll be actually able to deal with Fog in the end. Crazy Guy still on the rotation across from B. I thought there was a chance when Fog hit that shot, but no.
Such a chaotic round there, and I think it was very unlucky of Revolution there. I'm not sure what happened with the A players there, but the Antidote managed to somehow pick up 2 kills there, coming in from Mini by himself, and there was a player in pit as well, so must have been somewhat of strange comms or something going on there, but amazing play from him there to pick up 3 kills in that round, and he really just won the round there for Optic India.
Huge stuff, and it's not just the 1 round that he's won for them. It potentially does now lead a couple more rounds to go the way of Optic India based on the economic game here for Revolution. It should be an eco here or just pistol armor behind the but it's a double eco situation now for Revolution, really.
Definitely, yeah. I think in this round, you almost don't want to force buy here because you need the utility going forward into that next gun round in 2 rounds time, but they are just so low on rounds that I think they just have to. They have to hope that the AWP from Crazy Guy can make a heroic play here. Looks like he's taking it towards mid as well, so he's not going to take it B, which is kind of good because he's been taking it B every single round, so he's definitely swapping it up and trying to go aggressive here.
Yeah, I need to try and do something a little aggressive with that AWP because you need to have the impact early in the round. There's no point, you know, just taking it on a site after it's already been more or less opened up and you're trying to hold off like 3 Ts or something like that. You're inevitably going to be traded. It's a good start, just off the back of one flashbang. T is able to get the kill, and oh, dearie me, the pistols are going to work. Always so tough. But this time for Optic India, their little bit of an advantage has been squandered.
Yeah, this round hit, just went downhill so quick. It looked like a lot of individual plays here from Optic India players, like trying to take ground by themselves, and they got punished for it, which is, you know, just something you can't do on these force buy rounds. But they've managed to open up the B side here, and this is actually a round where I would favour Optic India to win. Having the B side and the CTs aren't close enough to make a play while you're planting the bomb. It could be really dangerous when, you know, you've got to plant the bomb and the CTs are close. But it does look like they aren't going to get the bomb planted.
Yeah, it took them forever to even... They haven't even attempted to plant the bomb just yet. They were, I guess, relying on maybe some utility or something, but I don't know what was going on there for Optic India. Just really milling around the bomb site for quite a while, and they've given that over to Revolution. They didn't have a smoke, I don't think, to be fair, but, like, still. Anyway, 9-4, Optic India, their money's actually kind of bad, so should be an eco out from them here. Well, no, they've decided to force into it. They don't want to give it up to potentially 9-6, 10-5. They want to go for the 11-4 still. But that's tough now with the buy that they've got, I think. And the fact that if they lose this, then they won't have a buy next round either.
Yeah, that last round was like super important for Revolution to win to keep them in this game, and you know they managed to pull it together with that CZ buy. As we see T up 3 kills of people running through the smoke there before he gets taken down.
Yeah, nice utility damage early on there to help him out as well, and pretty straightforward in the end to close this round out for Revolution, which is great to see.
Well, from a half that we thought was going 11-4, 9-6 doesn't sound too bad for Revolution here. It's definitely a number that they can definitely bring back on the T side. You know, at the start I think I said that 9-6 for a T side is pretty average, so you know, I think both Optic India and Revolution would be happy with that, but I think Optic India definitely let this slip a little bit.
Yes, I would have to agree with you. That's sometimes how it does happen, but you still got to say that Optic India have looked like the better side in this first half. So
Definitely.
That gives you at least a little bit of confidence heading into the second. Anything can happen though. Maybe Revolution's a T-sided team here on Inferno. Optic India might not have much of an idea how to play on CT. We will find out. Still one more round left in this half. Pistols again out for Optic India. A little bit of utility to play with. Again, not too much. This is very much headed the direction of the 9 and 6. We've seen pistols do damage quite a bit throughout today, though, so it's not over until the fat lady sings.
Definitely. Looks like they're just going for like a split default here. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to take mid control. They don't really have enough utility, and that's a great pick there from Fog. Revolution have looked really good at using flashbangs to try and get the first pick in every single round, and then after that, they're kind of just playing back.
Yep.
So that's been really impressive, and that's actually what's winning them a lot of these rounds. So Optic India's been caught off guard like quite a few times by flashes like that, and been caught alone. So
well, a couple have gone the way of India. I guess I'd say just one has gone the way of Optic India. But Marzil has himself an AK. Very low HP here for the Optic players, but who knows? Headshots could still win the round. Spoke too soon. Jason will shut it down. 6-9. Overall, pass score for both of those teams. Nothing too much to read into out of that first half, I don't think, but I'm still quite happy to stay with my prediction that Optic should win this matchup.
yeah, that was a pretty even half considering the start that Revolution had. So Optic India obviously looked quite strong, but now they've really brought it back, and they made a lot of big plays.
Looking at that scoreboard there, though, like for Optic India, it's a bit of a kind of across the board. They've done pretty well, but on the side of Revolution, they do just have the one player, which is Fog, sort of stepping up. If Fog doesn't have a few of those crazy rounds where he gets 2 or 3 kills, maybe things start to shift a little bit. So that can be a cause for concern. You could also say Revolution, they potentially have a few more players that can step up. They don't need to at the moment, but they can if they need to. It's two sides of the same coin. I do always tend to favour it when you see a team that has like a bit more of a stable kind of a spread of kills. And goodness me, that aggression into second middle has
3 people in the balcony window there. Picked up the 4 kills there. 4 for 1.
4 for none.
4 for none, sorry.
There you go.
Yeah, that is a great bit of aggression there. I do quite like on Inferno when teams do aggressive CT pistol rounds, because I think the Ts always kind of go into the round with a plan like, oh, we'll go up through carps. Like it's usually take carps control and then go back to banana or just like a B rush.
Yep.
So the carps push, it always nets you like a fight in second mid that's favourable, or you get all this information that they're not in second mid, which usually means they're heading towards the B-bomb site. So really great pist around there. I think that's like showing that Optic has really thought about like tactically about this map. And yeah, nets them the round.
Oh boy. Catch that.
Yeah,
It's like when you're in the slips cordon and it comes to you real quick.
you hate to see that,
That was
but
a cricket joke. I don't know if you
yeah,
like cricket.
I got the cricket joke, but I don't really watch a whole lot of cricket.
Well.
Either way, that was a you hate to see it. You hate to go like that in a game because it just means you're out of the round so quickly and didn't even get to see anyone.
Yep, it happens though, but that's something that you need to be very careful about on Inferno in particular. Like, I feel like Inferno is probably the map where it's easiest to get good value out of HE nades because there's so many enclosed sort of corridors that the Ts have to work through. That the CT side, if you just throw a grenade down Inferno or you throw a grenade down mid, there's a good chance you're going to tag someone.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of and you know I don't want to reveal my team's secrets, but there's definitely a lot of things and strats you can run around nades, and you can almost guarantee like your nade will do 20 or 30 damage in a round if you want it to, if you plan out for that. But you're gonna see.
What team do you play for?
What's up?
I said, what team do you play for?
I play for Greyhound Gaming.
Oh.
Yeah, you might have heard of us.
I thought you might have forgotten and you thought you were on Astralis.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, obviously we might have stolen a few of our strats from Astralis. They use grenades pretty much perfectly every single time. I feel like you'll never see Astralis use a grenade without it, having a point. Like it'll cut off rotations, or it'll like they'll use a molly to push someone, then nade those players. Which is definitely lends itself to Inferno so well. But we're going to see a B rush here from Revolution, and that is...
We're absolutely not going to see a B rush from
Revolution.
Revolution.
Forsaken stole the ace there from Hyvan. I thought he might have got the ace, but that's, bit of BM play there.
Ah, well.
I'd probably be a bit mad if,
No free chips and a burger, unfortunately. 12-6, Optic India though. Very nice anti-ecos out from them. Revolution will get the buy through here, but it's not a great one to start things off. And it's always scary when you're at 12-6 and your first buy through on the T side and it's literally just AKs and like smokes.
Yeah.
Because you're like, if I lose this round, it's 13-6. We probably want to take an eco, but at that point we kind of can't. And then like the map's kind of over. If you win this, if you lost this round as Revolution, it sort of feels to me like the map's almost over. Or it is kind of.
Yeah, this is why I think the new money system allowing you to buy on this T side with just smokes and stuff, it almost baits you into forcing in that second round and then buying in the fourth round with really bad utility, and it can, in the end, just like kind of damage you because you feel like you should force because you have 4400, but without the utility, especially on a map like Inferno, it's just so difficult to take any ground off the CTs when they've got a full util, buy up like Optic do.
Yeah, absolutely. Gonna have to hit some good headshots here for Revolution. That's the real way that they are going to be able to get into this A-bomb side. Look at this control of mid though from Optic India. YB Haven, they're going to shut down the push in a mid. The bomb is dropped, and while the carpets push has worked out for Revolution, it has absolutely not worked across the board. And it's a 3v2 with a couple of low players on Revolution now. The bomb hasn't even been recollected yet, and there's still just 40 seconds left in the round. So a lot of utility being used, a lot of time being used here by Revolution, a lot of HP being used, and YB will spray down the remaining two. Great stuff from Optic India. They lose out on one area of the map, but they win out on the important area of the map.
Yeah, it's a great reaction there. I think Revolution gave up Nana control early, and then because they didn't retake it straight away, Optic India felt comfortable just pushing down as two, and yeah, they really just punished them for holding up in mid there. Great grenade usage. Again, that's just because the CT side had great utility to use on Boiler and mid, so they slowed the Ts down from taking any control, and yeah, they just took charge of the round there.
Zil, that's a nice shot indeed through the flashbang, and things looking very, very scary now for Revolution. Like I said, 13-6. The round that comes after this is obviously going to be a gun round, but at that point you're 14-6, you're going to need to win 8 rounds in a row just to equalize, and that feels like an impossible task.
Yeah, it's looking like Optic India are really in the driving seat for this game. They have given up the AWP here, though, to T, and he has been a bit of an impact player here for Revolution, so he might be able to do something with this round as he picks up Forsaken there and Dig, left with just one player on A here for Optic India.
Yeah, not over just yet. Maybe I called it too soon. This incendiary is going to be pretty nice, but it still won't net a kill, I don't think. Oh, actually, YB decides to go out and onto the site. He'll go down to Fog. But Antidote is there to stabilize things back into the 2v1. Fog, though, has been very, very strong for Revolution so far today. So if anyone's in the 2v1 and would win it, it would be him, but not when you peek right into the crosshair of an AWP.
Yeah, he went for the fake flash, but his pistol hit the box, so
That's
unfortunately he was just wide peeking into an AWP there, and yeah, didn't work out for him. A good attempt though, and they did a lot of damage there on to Optic India, but Optic India have so much money from the rounds they've won that it's really not going to make a dent.
No, not at all. Here comes the buy from Revolution, and it will be their best buy thus far in the half. And such a crucial round for them now here on Inferno. If they lose here, it's done. I mean,
Yeah,
it
definitely.
kind of already feels done, but like this is the final nail in the coffin.
This would be a real comeback here if we saw Revolution, you know, win a couple rounds here, but you know, all it takes is for Optic India to have a couple of big rounds here, and it's all over.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of luck even is going to be enough for Optic India to close things out, but at the moment it doesn't look like they need luck, as they are well and truly dictating this game, and Revolution are just not looking fantastic at all on the T side of Inferno, walking right into all of the angles that Optic India are holding. What can you do at that point?
Yeah, Optic India are just making really great aggressive plays, and we're not really seeing much from Revolution. They're just defaulting, so against a team who's just defaulting the whole time, the aggressive plays are always going to catch them off guard, and I think Revolution really just need like a few strats here to fall back on, like try and take Nana control off Optic India fast and do an execute or something like that, but it looks like they don't have too much strategical depth here on Inferno.
Perhaps not, but to be fair, Revolution was pegged to be one of the weaker teams in this entire event.
That's true.
So, not sure exactly how much we should really expect from them. Optic India, however, on the other hand, were at least a little bit hyped up coming into it. So they're definitely looking good. They're definitely answering the questions that we had about them from yesterday, because their performance yesterday was not great. This is certainly a lot better, albeit against an opponent that really hasn't had that much experience internationally speaking. So how much you could draw from this, I'm not so sure. We'll have to see how the next map goes as well. It's not always so easy as saying, oh, 16-6 on the first map, and that's going to be the second map done and dusted as well for Optic India. It definitely does sort of shift a little bit, but nice early damage out from the grenade of Revolution. And Marzil, I think, took a wallbang through from an AWP or something like that. But regardless, no player dead yet.
Yeah, this is, I think Marzil was unlucky there to not get the pick into second mid. I think he wallbanged someone, I think he, Jason, and
yeah.
Again, it was great aggression there. They were red, the nades coming up mid to counter that, but didn't net a kill for Revolution, unfortunately. Looks like they're just taking mid control, like kind of we saw Optic do. There's no Carps presence though, which is quite strange. It might say something about where they're planning on ending up towards jungle.
That's a very, very nice grenade from YB. It's all gone wrong, Malta, help. Fog down to low HP as a result. 50 seconds left in the round here for Revolution. They looked like they were going to just commit straight onto that A-bomb site, and it seemed like it was a good idea because Optic India, they had a couple of guys stuck behind a smoke. YB, if he drops, that's the site opened up. But now they've slowed things down a little bit, and we're going to see the CTs do a little bit of a challenge for some control of their own. A 2-for-1 trade. That's good enough for Optic India at this point, not to mention the damage that they've been able to do over to Jason and Rambutan. Crazy Guy does get the kill onto YB, but he's low on HP himself. Does get the kill onto Marzil, the AWP reigning supreme right now for Revolution.
All three players here are so low for Revolution though, so the flank here from Hyven might...
There's 10 seconds left and they need to get that bomb down, so here's an opportunity for Optic India to take the committed peek, and they don't decide to, or if they did, they didn't really spot anyone out. Haven's coming in from an important position. This incendiary will also be pretty important. That's going to give a little bit more room for the Carpets player to work with, as Antidote will push onto the site. They just need to tickle the opponent. They can't quite land all the shots that they need. Revolution, nice crossfire setup, and they will get the job done. 7 up for them. Map persists.
Unfortunately, they couldn't save 3 rifles, only 2, so their money is still a bit in shambles, but it is good for them to get a round win on the board here. Contrasting that, Optic India, they've got great money. They're all going to have full utility again. Looks like a FAMAS has come out though, which is interesting. I guess because they wanted to have the double AWP set up here. So they've invested pretty heavily into those, and looks like the utility actually isn't perfect, but double AWP here, it's the first time they've done it. It might catch Revolution off guard, and it only needs to happen once.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty early on in the half, and with the money that Optic might have had, like for Revolution, if they were tracking it, they might not expect the double AWP out here either. Like they'd be thinking, okay, the money's getting a little bit low, maybe they won't gamble the double AWP this time, maybe they'd wait for a little bit more cash, but there's going to be the double AWP out here for Optic India, and Marzil will find the first. Doesn't know that there's a player so close there. Need to be careful and be better off backing off, which is exactly what he has done. Straight back into the A bomb site, YB taking some control of the position, and will be there for trading if Marzil does drop. Big if though, because he's holding a nice line, and there's not too much to it when you're looking down that angle with the AWP.
Yeah, look, you're just hoping someone crosses the apps without a flash, and Optic India are doing a really great job of like aggressing somewhere and then moving to another place. As you see Marzil moving here to Mini, picking up that kill.
Yeah, he's been all over the place. First the push into Boiler, then he was up in Carpets, and now he's over toward Arch, and double AWP really working out now for Optic India. I think that's going to be the end of the map. We'll have to see if T can find a 1v3 with no HP left here, but realistically speaking, 30 seconds on the clock, even despite the fact that he does have the bomb. Look at the position that he's in and where Optic India are right now. They're going to be able to just wrap around him, and eventually Marzil, what a fantastic round out from him there with that second AWP, and able to do a really, really good job. For the guys on Optic India, a very good job in that first map as well, 16-7.
Yeah.
Overall, pretty comfortable, really.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we expected going into this, that Optic India would be the stronger team, but it's good that they've, you know, gone ahead and proven that for us. You know, they were a bit of a, we weren't sure how well they'd perform after their game yesterday, but yeah, they played really well. They're managing aggression really well on their CT side, so they're looking like a really good team.
Yeah, absolutely, but the same, we can talk a little bit about Revolution, and I don't think we can necessarily be saying as much in their department. So I don't think, for me at least, there was enough really that I saw from Revolution there that's going to give me too much hope heading into the second map.
Yeah, they definitely looked a bit lost on their T side especially. CT side, you can argue they were balancing aggression well, but T side, it just looked like they were kind of all just, you know, 1-1-1-1-1, just getting picked around the place. So.
All right, well, a bit on the line now for Revolution heading into this second map. We're going to head to a break shortly, but obviously these guys on Revolution do need to step up here, otherwise they are going to be done at Extremesland. The objective for Optic India is to close this one out 2-0, which they very much look like they're going to be able to do. So we'll head to a break. Don't go anywhere. Map 2 coming up soon.
The best audio setting is the one you're comfortable with, so you can act and react anytime. Intuitive touch panel for treble and bass adjustment. With driverless design, you just plug and play. Everyone grips the mouse differently, so how can one mouse work for all? Different sizes and shapes for your options. Pick the one that fits your grip for long-lasting comfort and gameplay. With driverless design, you just plug and play.
As far as I know, everyone on the team who has tried the new screen from BenQ is using the feature with 240 Hz. It's so amazing, the transition is so great.
I think for me the most important when I play the game is that I feel that all my actions directly represented on the monitor. This is just another level on top of that, I would say.
It improves your gameplay a lot. You can react much faster on these kinds of monitors, and like once you play on 240 Hz, you can't go back.
Personalize the way you see everything, and then conquer. Exclusive Black Equalizer brightens dark scenes without overexposing bright areas. Use the S switch to quickly access the setting and switch between save modes. Adjust the angle effortlessly for maximum comfort.
Hey everyone, welcome back. It's the Extremesland 2018 Asia Finals. I'm here with Malta. We've got, well, potentially halfway through our second match of the day, I should say. But there is also a chance maybe that we see Revolution come back into this one. Of course, I'm talking about Optic India and Revolution. We did see them on Inferno. Pretty comfortable, really, there, we thought, for Optic India.
Yeah, they really seem like the stronger team. So, you know, they might be able to carry it through here. But here we go. We'll start with the pistol round here, see what they can do. Yeah, I think they've got all the momentum here. They were really dictating the last game. So, yeah, it's going to be on Revolution here to change things up and see if they can do a bit better here on Cash than Inferno.
It's always good to start with the pistol round, I think. But Revolution on the T side, making their way toward the A-bomb site. And a bit more of a retake kind of a setup here for Optic India on this one. They're not really committed to that site at the moment.
Yeah, so they probably heard the door open there, so they know that the Ts are out on the site. But obviously this is just a retake strat here for them. They've got a Molotov, I assume it'll probably be for quad, and then the smoke there, which will probably be for A main or the bomb. So I think this is a strat that's planned around a retake.
Yeah, most definitely it is, but Fog has started off well. It doesn't look like this is going to work out too nicely for Optic India. Typically, if you're going to make the retake work, you need to be getting that first frag, but the trade's going to be way too easy, and in fact, they're not even really trades at the moment for Revolution, are they? Because they are just absolutely demolishing Optic India there. I've never really been a huge fan of the retake strategy on Cache, or really on any map when you do go for it. I just feel like giving that much control and that much positioning to the Ts for free, it gives them such an advantage.
Yeah, it's hard. I think on Cache, it kind of fell out of meta playing the one truck and then you know, playing towards B, and it became more of a meta of just playing one truck and then having two on site who are just baiting the guy truck. So the guy truck makes it look like it's retake, but they're actually got the two on the site. So you don't often see a retake A anymore because, you know, purely for that fact. And usually when they do play retake A, they'll play on the truck wall because it's just a better position to find one frag and fall off. In a 5v5, Ts have A site, you know, there's almost no chance that CTs can win that.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what we saw in that particular round. Optic going for a bit of an expedition out here through Squeaky, and that's going to work out pretty nicely. Haven is going to get a little bit of early damage across.
Two kills, wow.
No way. All right, 4v3.
CZ does some magic sometimes, and right when Optic India, you know, need it in this round, just delivers.
Not over just yet for Revolution. This is an interesting flashbang for Forsaken. I've not really seen that too often.
Yeah, I think that's actually something Cold Zero does all the time. So Mibber will have one person here with the flashbang, and then the one guy default baiting, obviously. And then if they come B here, it's really, really difficult to hit the site.
That's a great shot from Fog.
He's been so good this series so far, and he's really carrying it through here onto Cash.
Yeah, all onto YB now, as it is going to be the push into the A-bomb site. You'd want to see him get at least one here for Optic to have a chance, and they have. Up on top, he's going to be able to just find the one before being traded out, but that's going to be a bit of a chaos in the ranks of this Optic India roster. Putting it onto Revolution, and it's a 1v1. Both players 1 HP. T with 6 points to his HP, and has to get that bomb down as well. 24 seconds. The kill will go the way of T. But a very damaging round for Optic India, and very close indeed.
Yeah, so close there. Luckily, T using the peek as advantage there to get him the angle there, and he can take out the final player there for Optic India. But so much damage done there in that round, and that's really not the start you want from Revolution, even if you win the round. This round should be a bit of a write-off here for Optic India. Revolution should just plow their way through with those 2 Mac 10s, but we have seen crazier things happen. You know, USP only aces and such.
Yeah, not but one day ago. Crazy guy though is keeping things looking pretty standard in this anti-eco. Much better this time from Revolution. No messing around, running straight into the bomb site and taking those aim battles. First gun round to come here for Optic India. Not a whole lot of cash to spread around, but they'll be able to get the AWP out. Doesn't have any armor to follow it up. Back 10 stave through here for Revolution are actually going to be pretty useful. Not a single piece of head armor.
Yeah, it's so dangerous not buying the head armor after you've seen those 2 Mac 10s on the second round there. This is, you know, there's also no armor on the AWPer as well, so pretty much the Mac 10 is a one hit to anyone on the map here. So it looks like they're just going for that B rush here, just a really fast contact. We'll have to see what Optic can do about it. First pick goes out.
Oh, dearie me. Well, doesn't matter if you've got Mac 10s, no head armor. If you are just going to be popping faces with that AWP, that's going to be 4 in the round, 4 antidote, and that is a display.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want in your first gun round. You know, we said how dangerous those Mac 10s can be, but he just shuts them all down so quickly, finding 4 kills in the round actually. And yeah, Optic India, first gun round.
Fantastic stuff. very, very sharp with the AWP on the B bomb side. So that's going to be giving Revolution some pause for thought now before running into the B bomb side unawares. Next time it's going to be needing a little bit more utility. But there's an AWP in the hands of Crazy Guy now for Revolution. So AWP v AWP battle potential here as Forsaken does spot out Crazy Guy.
Well, unfortunately misses that smoke there, so he's going to be stuck in checkers as we see some fights towards mid here. It's good to see Revolution taking mid control here, which is something we didn't see in Cash earlier today. So they're starting with mid control. They've pushed Optic India out, and Optic India have, in response, taken A main here, as you can see. But it looks like Revolution is posturing towards the B side here. Great kill there from YB.
Yeah, Optic really getting a lot of information early on because of that boost above the smoke. They saw the majority of the players headed in towards mid, and as a result, they stack a couple of players there. Now the B players very well aware that there is going to be potentially players coming in through the vent, and it's going to be a B split in towards bomb site, so they react accordingly. Forsaken will pop flash into main, and he's going to get 3 frags. Crazy Guy, Fog, and Jason all dropping. He'll get the 4th as well. Great work from Forsaken. Great work on the flashbang there as well from Antidote, and a fantastic hold on the B side for Optic India.
Yeah, and Optic have just kept up their style of, picking great timings to flashbang and go aggressive on this CT side. So, again, you see Forsaken there getting flashed in by a teammate and just wins the round.
Can't complain about that one, as well as a double AWP is going to go in the hands of Optic India. I think it was just picked up. Yeah, it looks like it based on how much they invested into the round. So, bit of a free upgrade for Optic India. And you were saying double AWP pretty impactful on Cache. Definitely can have its moments here, and we'll see how Optic India make it work. Well, first one hasn't gone too well. Yeah,
the double AWP on Cache is actually super good in gun rounds, but on eco rounds it can actually be pretty detrimental because if they rush you down or, I mean, as you can see, they obviously just lost a very long aim duel there, but it can actually just slow down rotations and stuff like that. So definitely has its ups and downs. As we see, Revolution have picked up that AWP from Z, and one player's actually pushed through, and it looks like he's going to flank Truck here. There is a player at Truck there. It's going to be a very important fight.
This is a very important fight as well. Haven able to get 3 on the spray down, and he sets himself as the 4th run into A-main as well. All in all, pretty reasonable hold there from Optic India. Would have been nice to take the double AWP through, but oh yeah, they are going to get it. That's good.
That's just unfortunate there for Revolution. I think the timing on the player coming Truck was just a little bit off, and in the end, they get caught out there. But that was a pretty dangerous round, and Optic India almost let it slip by getting losing that first player there in Z. But yeah, fortunately, Hyven managed to bring the round back, and yeah, everything's back on track.
Back on track indeed. Not so much for Revolution, really, because they would have not really wanted to lose the first 2 gun rounds, but Marzil going to be very aggressive into main, and that is going to work out fantastically. And that is going to make you have second thoughts about pushing into A main next time for Revolution.
Yeah, definitely. That's just a slight slip up. I think as soon as you hear that flashbang, you need to assume that someone's pushed into A main. So it's just a little bit of an individual mistake there that's cost him his life in that round. But you are seeing Revolution. They've picked up, Crazy Guys picked up the return kill there on YB at Highway, and that's really opened up mid. So this boost, though, could definitely catch off this player at White Box.
Yeah, maybe. Oof, just managing to win the aim battle. A difficult one for Forsaken, as the Grill was kind of hampering his vision a little bit. I don't think he spotted Jason until he was starting to get shot at, but in the end, the aim battle does go his way anyway. This is a great incendiary down. It's going to really push Fog back, and means that if there was going to be a pincer strike into the A-bomb site, now it's just going to be a one-pronged attack. So Haven just has to worry about the one angle, backing up quite nicely to find a second kill there as well. Crazy Guy does get the trade. However, he's in a 1v3, so chances are that this round is also going to be going the way of Optic India. They would love to get away with the 3 guns in this one. Looks like that's going to be happening, but 2 is good enough, especially when it's the double AWP.
Yeah, look, great trade frag there from Optic India. They're playing the information game really well. Finding the information, there was nothing towards B there. They had a lot of B main control, and then just stacked 3 players towards A. It looks like they're carrying their form through here, just being aggressive, making the picks happen, and Revolution are looking a little bit lost on their T side, like they were on Inferno as well.
Yeah, at the moment, I'm starting to get the sense that Optic are still looking like the stronger side here on Cache, even despite the fact that Revolution are the ones that have chosen this map. It was Optic India's choice to be on Inferno. Marzil opening things up. Double AWP really does seem to be paying off quite nicely for Optic India. You can see that they've taken a bit of a cheaper buy in this one with that SMG coming out for Haven, and could potentially cost them a little bit. There's a couple of kills do go quickly the way of Revolution. Now with this double AWP, it's going to be tough to hold on, especially if YB does drop. Forsaken and Antidote are going to have to try and retake the site. Luckily, there is a hole in the smoke, so Forsaken's going to get some nice positioning up on the site. And he's going to be able to get rid of Fog to the 2v2. Nicely done onto the player out quad, but the bomb is still going to go down. No, fake plant. That works out well for Optic.
Look, it was looking pretty dangerous there. I think Optic India just getting a little bit overconfident there. Like, they're all going for individual pushes, trying to make, you know, the hero play. But, you know, in the end, it worked out for them. I think it could cost them if they keep doing it. But at the same time, they are shutting down Revolution on these gun rounds by doing it. So I think their style's really countering Revolution here.
Absolutely. A lot of money still for Optic India, even though they do lose a few guns in that one. So they've still got the double AWP coming through, they've still got full utility, they've still got everything on that CT side that you would ever hope to want. Want to hope, I don't know. That's right. Revolution though, they've also got a decent buy through here, and they're going to start getting good buys through pretty much every single round now if they can get the bomb down, because that losers bonus has really built up.
Yeah, this is where the T side can really get back into the game. Their money's balanced out. They're on a pretty good round here. It looks like Optic India's not really going for any aggressive peaks here, which is kind of what was problematic here for Revolution. The player here is boosted up counter boost, so could definitely catch off a few players here if he picks his timing well.
And he's picked it quite well indeed, just the one, but that might well be enough because the smoke's going to go down here. He does actually get across Jason, just a little bit too quick on the shots there. In the end, good control of mid now for Optic India, though they do back off a little bit. Marzil is going to keep an eye on it. 50 seconds, and Revolution don't have control of anywhere of the map.
No, and this style is really good where Optic India have made an aggressive play at mid, then they've fallen off using their utility to get out and to make sure that they stay alive, and now they're just making Revolution here use a lot of utility and a lot of time trying to retake close mid, and obviously if you post up an AWP there, it's just a few free picks. Unfortunately, he does get traded out. This AWP quad is going to shut down the highway push. There's not really much ground that Revolution has, and going through Ven, unfortunately, is not a great option this late into the round.
Yeah, not making that much noise. Good couple of shots from Fog, but I don't know if it's actually going to allow him to get the bomb down here. He'll get onto the site, and actually, Optic don't take the challenge from Heaven, so he will manage to get it down. Going to play out the 2v1, but Fog is in a pretty nice position with that AWP. Can make this one happen. These players are playing very, very separately on that retake at the moment, so they need to be really careful that they don't drop here. Haven, I think the shot was missed there by Fog. I'm not sure, I didn't hear it fired off, but I have to imagine that's what happened. And actually, he threw the Molotov, so in the end, works the way of Optic again.
Yeah, that was a nice try there from Fog. Definitely could have isolated one of those players, but I think he just got unlucky that they split up, because usually CTs will group up in that situation and try and, you know, pick off each other, but there was just too many angles and he was in a bad spot. Looking good so far for Optic India. They've got so much momentum going into this, and the money on the T side here is really at its limits, I guess, after this round. Luckily, Fog got the plant there, which was so important, and let them buy into this round, but after this round, it's really, they're pretty dry up in the money department.
Never going to be a fun time when you're at a deficit like this. That said, if they win the round, look, they can start to work their way back into it. It's not really a terrible scoreline right now. And gotta say, Crazy Guy has been pretty impressive with the AWP. That's where a bit of the success is coming from for Revolution. And not that they're actually being able to capitalize on that. Nice anti-flash play from Rambutan. He's going to get another kill. But yeah, like they're not capitalizing on the kills that Crazy Guy is able to get, but at least he's hitting some nice kills. And that kind of gives you a little bit of hope that if he can do that earlier in the round, that Optic India might drop around here or two. A big miss for Antidote, and that is going to allow the players to come into the site, trying to get some flashbangs and smoke grenades out, but you're getting wrapped from all sides. It was
not much you can do
out
there,
of the frying pan into the fire.
Yeah. Looks like Optic India are going to drop this round off the back of Crazy Guy picking up a great pick there in mid, and then what's happened is Optic India think they have to go for an aggressive play there to counter that, try and find the frag there in A main, and unfortunately, I think they made a little bit too much noise, so it was expected there from Revolution. So overall, pretty good round there from Revolution.
Very good indeed. But not enough to break the economy of the CT side. In fact, they can afford even to purchase the double AWP once again. Missing out on some of their head armor across the board, but doesn't really matter too much against the AKs and the AWP. I think Optic India are going to prefer the slower kinds of rounds that we've been seeing rather than that quicker round there from Revolution, which did seem to catch them off guard a little bit.
Yeah, they're reacting really well to the information that they're getting around the map.
Oh.
That's a wonderful kill there from Hyven. He even flicked away to try and dodge the flashbang, still got flashed, and flicked back exactly
memory,
to where the
man.
player was. Yeah, really incredible there. Obviously, that's a great entry there. They've got door control now, and it's just forced Revolution to just run back and try and take mid here.
Well, taking mid later in the round is actually going to work out pretty well for them. It's quite easy because there's no one from Optic India actually there. So we'll look to be a B split. Crazy guy to get some presence up in toward the A bomb site. That's really nice, but if their entry into the B bomb site doesn't go well, which it looks like it will not. Well, that's a very long
Crazy spray there from Forsaken, but he manages to make it work, closing out the round with 2 kills. And yeah, great round there from Optic. Obviously, if the kill there in door goes a little bit different, if Hyven doesn't get the kill while full flash, then that round's completely different. But you know, that's the beauty of CS sometimes. Just one kill can have such an impact on the round.
Yeah, make that big individual play, step up and make it happen for your roster, and that is exactly what happened there for Optic India. 7-4. And as you said, money is getting a little bit problematic for Revolution. They'll force buy through into the round, 3 AKs, the MP5 and the Tech 9. Like, it's not a terrible buy here for Revolution, but they haven't been able to get the job done with the weaponry. Doesn't fill me with confidence that they're going to be able to do it with what is really essentially just a force buy.
The aggression at A main has now forced their hand kind of at B main here. It's looking like Forsaken has seen him through the molly. And it's just a trade frag there, but a 2-for-1 there is really not favouring the Ts. They haven't got much utility to get into this site. They do have a smoke for CT, but that is a huge kill from Rambutan.
It is indeed. Marzil coming in through the vent, though. No one covering off his position at the moment. That's a big kill, however, and now Rambutan can focus his attention in toward the vent. What a round from him. 4 kills.
Yeah, he really closed that one out. That was a round that Optic India really should have been closing out. I think Rambutan really just took things into his own hands, and getting that kill on the guy default was just a huge turning point in the round, and yeah, great play from him.
It's really ruined the economy of Optic India as well, so there's a good chance for Revolution to come back into this half. Really feels as though the storyline that we've been selling has been that Optic India have been the ones on top, but 7-5 with the money low here for Optic India. There is a world in which actually Revolution can bring this one back to 8-7 themselves. Great shot, however, from Antidote. That looked almost on point as well, but now he's kind of caught out in the middle of nowhere, and they're expecting him this close. Doesn't matter because the flashbang does come through, but this rotation, Marzil, he drops the bomb. Great shot from Crazy Guy. Just big plays from every single player on both sides. Right now, it is favoring Revolution 2v1. Haven for a 2v1 retake. I say that, but the bomb isn't even down just yet, and there is maybe a hole in the smoke there. Doesn't look like it. Haven will drop to Jason. What a round, though, from both sides.
Yeah, that was such a big round as well. Both teams on the brink of economical disaster, but in the end, Revolution come out on top. Looks like Optic India should just save this and buy into the last round, but their buy is not going to be great in either round, so yeah, it looks like they're just buying up some pistols, trying to get some damage done. Off the back of that round there from Rambutan earlier, I think 2 rounds ago, it looks like Revolution actually might have a good 8-7 half here.
Yeah, second win in their sales. It's not over till the Fat Lady sings, even though it did look like Optic were really having the better of it here on Cache. I would agree with you. I think 8-7, the way of Revolution, is where we are headed at the moment. But they want to make sure that they close this round down. The Deagles doing a little bit of damage there. Forsaken has another opportunity, but burning alive, being wrapped upon by his opponents as well. Won't get much more than the 1 kill. Haven alone with the P250. And a pretty monumentous task ahead of him.
Yeah, I'm going to say this is a 7-7, and I think either, you know, any way the last round goes, both teams will be pretty happy with that. I think Optic India let it slip again a little bit, but I think on Cache, personally, I think the T side is the favoured side, and definitely more of a 9-6, 8-7 kind of map, so it's a pretty even game here.
Evan has managed to find himself an AK as well, which is definitely going to aid the buy in the next round for Optic India. Obviously, being on that CT side, it's going to require a little bit of extra investment to get all that utility in the guns. So at least you're going to have one player here for Optic that will have a reasonable stack of grenades available. I don't think that the money's going to be that great. This is, I think, the 3rd round in a row that's been lost for Optic India, so like they're going to be able to get rifles and armor through, but again, that utility is going to be lacking. Some players won't have defuse kits, or some players won't have Molotovs, that kind of thing. Let's see what they do eventually manage to get here.
Unfortunately, it does look like, yeah, their utility's definitely not strong. I think for them, a few flashbangs is all they need with the style they're playing, but it only looks like they have 3, which is actually pretty detrimental because they're using a lot of flashbangs to get these early picks in the rounds. So we'll have to see if they can keep doing that. Looks like a heavy A main push here from both teams.
Marzil straight into main. He's going to get traded out by T. I don't know if it was the right idea to pick up the AWP there. Wanted to try and make something happen with it, but in the end, okay here for the CT side. If Forsaken can survive, which he has, and they haven't really spotted him, but he hasn't taken advantage of it. I lie. I speak too soon. Fog will drop by Fork. And the entry into the A-bomb side hasn't worked out too nicely for Revolution. YB spammed through the smoke. Rambutan coming up absolutely massive for Revolution in the late rounds of this half. Into the 1v1, though, is Jason and Antidote. And over to the B-bomb site does go the bomb.
Yeah, this is a really difficult 1v1 here for Antidote. He has no idea where the T's gone, and going mid here is so smart because you can really just figure out where the CT's gone. You know, if he doesn't see him at highway, he can walk through Z, he can try flank B or flank truck, and with those 2 areas clean, then you really know where the CT player will be. But it does seem like he's just going to go up highway here. Unfortunately, Antidote has made his way over to the B bomb site. Looks like he's pushing B main. Might now just be realizing that he's gone to the wrong bomb site, and Jason should be getting the bomb down here within the next 10 seconds.
Well, still, at the moment, like, as a CT, there's nothing really that you can do.
No, you just have to make a
wait.
gamble. Try and pick one site and hope he comes, but unfortunately, it looks like he's gambled incorrectly.
Going to be quite a long rotation, so that's going to cost a fair bit of time, but he does have a defuse kit, so there is that at least. And Jason hasn't actually gotten off the bomb side. He hasn't got himself into like a weird post-plant position that you might not expect. I do feel as though quad box doesn't get checked all that often in the 1v1 clutches, especially late in the clutch, which is exactly where we are now for Antidote. So he's checking Fork. He might just smoke the bomb here and jump on it. I don't know that he's going to check quad, and that's exactly going to be the case. 8-7, a favourable first half in the end for Revolution, but not by a whole lot.
Yeah, they definitely brought it back, but I think, you know, we're going into this second half with very even scoreline.
As even as it can be.
We'll have to see what Optic choose to do in this T-pistol round. I remember on Inferno last game they decided to go with a bit of a fake, so they played it quite a tactically superior pistol round than what we've been seeing from Revolution. So we'll have to see if they go for another strat like that. Cache does favour itself to strats like that as well, you know, with putting 3 squeaky, 2 towards B and stuff like that. So we'll have to see what they do. Looks like just one utility set here for YB as they start moving towards the B-bomb site.
I would have to imagine that Optic are going to go for something a little bit thought-provoking here at the very least. That's just tended to be their play style throughout, not just the pistols, but in the gun rounds and stuff as well. So I'd be surprised if they did anything pretty crazy like just rushing into the bomb site. And again, obviously they've just set themselves up here waiting default to potentially see any push out from Revolution on the B-bomb site. Not going to be the case here at the moment, but a bit of a peek into mid will net a little bit of damage out for YB there. Looks like he must have got a bink over onto T. No, that was up on the A-bomb site. So that was from Marzil. Damage onto Crazy Guy was from mid, but good start for Rambutan. He's really been shaping up nicely for Revolution here on Cache. And a hole in the smoke. Got a bit of info off that, sees how many players do manage to cross, but now he is starting to be collapsed upon by those blocks. And a good flashbang in will net the kill for Antidote.
Yeah, it's interesting that the T's chose to use their smoke there to progression smoke to B main there instead of using it to cross CT. But in the end, it nets them the kill on the CT player with a great flashbang there from YB. We'll have to see how the CTs approach this retake here.
Making a bit of noise in A main, but a lot of utility being thrown onto the bomb site. Fog has been flashed out. That's unfortunate. Antidote, another big kill from him, and just players walking into his crosshair. He's going to get 5 kills in the round. It's an ace on the pistol for Antidote.
That is a crazy round there. As you said earlier, playing retakes sometimes, you know, you're just locked out of the round, and Antidote does so well there to kill the 2 players coming in headshot and just cleans up on the rest of them.
8 apiece. Optic India. Good start to the second half. Revolution will force buy through into the round. Pistol armor as expected. This feels like a pretty standard cage game to me, to be honest. Always backwards and forwards. You think one team's got an advantage in the first half, and then their economy gets broken, and then it inevitably ends 8-7.
Yeah, I mean, CS recently has definitely been just such a big economy game. You know, as much damage as you can get done on these eco rounds, it all counts for, you know, going into gun rounds, they might have less utility, and you have more utility because you've gotten those kills. So it really is just about finding, you know, if you can find 3 or 4 frags, that's huge.
Well, that's a nice little push from T, but his position, of course, very, very well known by Optic India at the moment. And seeing a few kills go the way of the CZ, some guns in the hands, but unfortunately for Revolution, it's just the UMP and the MP5. The AKs haven't been dropped over by Optic India, and that would be the real opening into the round for Revolution. I don't think with these two weapons they're going to be able to make much of a comeback here. Just their opponents with the head armor, and of course, they will not.
Definitely not, but it was good. They were using flashbangs very well there to just find a couple of kills. You know, the door player was super dangerous. Unfortunately, he, I think, did get dinked pretty early and then had to wrap around A main. So could have been a different round on a different day, but unfortunately they do lose that one. So it's going to be the full USP buy here. Optic India looking pretty good on their T side so far.
Well, should be a bit of an easier round this time for Optic India. USP's only. Haven does get caught off, though he does get a 1-for-1 at the very least. It's only the UMP loss, that's why he's the one over there on his own. It's not a big loss for Optic India, so they'll be okay with how things have gone so far. They'll be wanting to upgrade that gun in the next round anyway. And Jason, if he takes it through, yes, you can make use of it on the CT side, but it's definitely not a gun that really should be having too much of an impact.
No, he definitely should be looking for a few exits here. With the UMP, you can get a little bit of cash if you get a couple of kills, so that'll help them buy in the next round, but it looks like he's just going to keep a hold of it on the B side here. Hopefully the Ts don't choose to push him, because, you know, they've all got AKs. They don't really need to get this UMP out of his hands. It's just going to benefit him, if anything.
Yeah, this is a pretty aggressive line being held by Forsaken. Now that he has spotted it, he's going to push on forward. Good shot. In the end, works out well for Optic India. They won't allow the UMP to go through, won't allow the UMP to build up too much economy for Revolution at all. 10-8 as the first gun round does come out here in the second half. And by the looks of things, it's not going to be a great one for Revolution. I think he's still a bit lacking, but a decent amount of utility across the majority of the members.
Yeah, and they've made these buys work before on Inferno, so we definitely know this team can, you know, pull rabbit out of the hat and win rounds that, you know, potentially they shouldn't be. But 2 quick kills there.
Maybe a third quick kill here as well. Crazy Guy will just set himself and gets the kill in mid. Very nice stuff from Revolution. A little bit of a change of pace from Optic India, but it doesn't catch them off guard at all.
No, I think they were just running out of the mid-main smoke with a flashbang there, which Revolution have been pretty ready for these contact plays so far in this series. So it's an interesting choice for them to do that, but you know, a change of pace like that can often destroy other teams on first gun rounds, and really just gets in their head.
Round's not over just yet, though, for Optic India. Back to a 2v3. With Crazy Guy being so low on HP, this is still winnable. As Optic India will make their way in toward the B bomb side, especially if they knock this player over. And that really opens things up in this round for the T side. Jason, he needs to find at least the one here. Can't go down 4-3, but he will. Forsaken gets that kill. Bomb plant should be pretty straightforward here. Crazy Guy pushing through the smoke. That's very cheeky. He'll deny the bomb plant. It wasn't being covered properly, and Crazy Guy, well, true to his name, pushing through the smoke and finds a couple of kills. 4 in the round for him, and that is pretty insane.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate there for Optic India. You can't help but feel like they really earned their way back into that round, but the push through CT there is a little bit random. Really, it's like a super risky play there from Crazy Guy, but in the end it pays off. So looks like we have a bit of a pause here.
Technical.
Say it's a technical pause.
Yeah.
Fortunately, cannot be helped at these LAN events.
Yeah, it is what it is. They've actually had to call a tactical pause, but I'm sure that'll be getting sorted out in a moment. Optic India, though, not sure exactly what the issue is for them, but Yeah, that last round, I actually felt like they were going to win it once they got it into the 2v2. But I don't know, whoever it was that was covering and throwing the Molotov up into heaven just didn't spot Crazy Guy coming through the smoke from Tree Room.
Yeah, he felt like he had to go back and cover the vents since they knew that they just left mid and Revolution definitely could have regressed and been coming through the vent. But, you know, just bad timing and Crazy Guy making what was a pretty crazy play, and, you know, in the end it wins the team, wins his team the round.
I think they needed the admin to unpause it for them.
Yeah, it looks like we're just waiting.
I always love that, like how you go to a different event and there always seems to be a different kind of a config or like a way of pausing.
Yeah.
And like, it's just so funny watching people try to figure it out.
There's always different rules about it as well, like how you should call the tac pause. Like some events do it, you go to into the menu and call a vote, and then other ones just you type .pause, and it gets so confusing when you know you're going all these different events and you kind of just forget. This one, I think the admin has just forced the pause and then has now
Disappeared.
forgotten.
That's all right. More time for the Liam and Jordan podcast.
Yeah, Liam and Jordan podcast, guys. Welcome.
Welcome to the podcast. On today's podcast, we're talking all things Counter-Strike here in the ANZ region.
That's just a bit of a teaser. Oh,
Smooth summer of 2018. It's not summer yet.
you definitely have a radio voice. You
Yeah,
could
I was
be,
trying to put it on a little bit there. I
Oh.
think we could do it.
Yeah, probably. Probably have
Just
enough
needs some
time
better
here.
content.
Bit of content, yeah. We
Yeah.
need to get some guests on.
Yeah. Well, you're the guest right now.
Mm,
Like, this is my normal job.
that's true. So this is your pod. So it's not
This
really
is my
the
podcast. This is the Jordan Mays podcast.
The Jordan Mays podcast.
Welcome everyone to the Jordan Mays podcast. Today on our show, we've got Liam Maltashembri, the secondary AWPer for Greyhound and one of the newer members of the roster. But saying that, he's been around for a little while. How are you feeling today, Malta?
Oh, it's great to be here, Jordan. Yeah, really enjoyed my time so far.
First time casting.
Yeah, it's
Been
been
good?
fun. It's been good fun. You know, it's nice to have a man like you at my side,
Absolutely.
running me through it.
Mm-hmm.
What about yourself?
It's been a good day.
Been a good day?
Yep.
That's good.
Not sure about these pauses, but look, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, nothing we can do about it, and nothing the players can do about it. Just seems like something must have happened on the admin's end, and
Falling
Just-
asleep.
yeah, maybe you just fell asleep.
Been some long days at Extremesland. Yesterday was a fairly long one, 9.5 hours or so, 10 hours. I guess for the admins and stuff, it would have been even longer, so
Definitely.
can't blame them.
Can't blame the guy. Who doesn't want to just get a bit of sleep?
I've always thought it must be so great being a player. Literally, all you do is you play one game a day, and then you're like, you're done.
Man, I have to set up keyboard, mouse.
Oh no!
Mate, and what about
about?
when I have to set up my my resolution, my custom resolution, and it doesn't work on the computers, and
Can't
it's
you
just
just like plug in a USB and it does it for you?
oh, I wish. Not allowed USBs, mate.
Yeah,
Might
I
be
wouldn't trust
some,
you with a USB either.
That's quite rude.
Mhm.
Yeah, no. Being a player is very easy, and I'm sure adminning behind the scenes is quite difficult.
I'm so
But-
confused now because they've said they're ready, and then also they've said they're not ready. So
Yeah, seems like a bit of a mess. I think they must have been having an issue with one of the computers or TeamSpeak or something like that that just fixed itself, and then now
now it hasn't fixed itself.
yeah,
I
it's
don't
come back. Who knows? Unfortunately, that is the life of an esports player.
know. Oh
that
yeah,
you are at the liberty of the computer, and sometimes it doesn't like to work.
indeed. What's the worst ever LAN computer you've had?
Like, as in,
Like, don't name names, right? But like, give me the situation.
well, I've never had a bad experience with an ESL, computer. ESL, beautiful, great company.
Pandering.
But I'm not sure. I think we've played on laptops before, and like obviously when they overheat, you're getting
Yeah.
bad frames and not the best. But I'm not going to name and shame. We have had a few where you're getting 120 frames and you're playing on a 144 Hz monitor and
Feels a bit choppy.
feels a little bit choppy. I'm sure as everyone at home who has a 144 Hz monitor knows,
Yep.
when you do get low FPS, it does make
Actually,
you want
I've
to cry.
still got a 120 Hertz monitor.
I never understood one. Like, that seems like a really... Like, I know they've gone 60, double at 120, but it does seem...
Why does 144 Hertz make more sense than 120?
I'm not sure. I think maybe just because it's more, like, widespread now. Like, that's just the
Well,
norm.
the thing is, like, 120 Hertz was the thing, right? And then they brought out the 144.
Back when...
120 Hertz was like a thing for like 2 years.
Yeah, I was probably too young for that.
Yeah.
You know, I had a 60 hertz monitor for so long because I didn't believe that 144 was any better.
Right.
And then now I am the biggest advocate.
No, like
for
it
the
was
240.
obviously everyone was playing on 60 hertz for like forever.
Yeah.
Most games didn't even run at 60 FPS. But then like 120 came out and everyone was like, okay, you need a 120 hertz monitor. And then 144 came out and there was the whole thing of like, you don't really need to upgrade from 120 to 144. But then like now 240 hertz is coming out as well. So
And
like
you need
that-
the 240.
you need the 240. I haven't got one yet, but I'm hoping to get one sooner or later.
Yeah, well, they are great.
They're
You know,
expensive though.
very expensive for what they are, but also they're amazing. So I think they really help. Like, I think as a player, one of my players recently, Dexter, got a new one, and he has been playing. Like he was using his 240 hertz monitor, and unfortunately he had set it to just 144 hertz.
Yeah,
And
that's
played on
always a
that
noob
for a
move.
week. Yeah, I mean, idiot. But when he swapped it to 240 hertz, he started playing quite well. And he
Wow,
was
imagine that.
every kill he got, he was like, ooh, 240 hertz.
It's like sandbagging, right? Where you have to like run with like extra weights, or
Yeah.
you run on sand or something, and then you actually play. There is a bit of a problem with Forsaken's computer, I'm told, so it should be about 5 or 10 minutes, which is okay with me, to be honest. We're having a good chat, having a
Yeah.
good time.
The podcast is going well.
Podcast
I'm
is
pretty
going well.
proud of this first episode.
Yeah.
Hoping we can, take it from just the Jordan Mays podcast,
Hmm.
and maybe I can get my name in subtext somewhere.
Mage
but
Shembry.
Mays Shembry, yeah. I
Maybe
mean,
we
that kind of sounds like we're
You know,
married.
I actually had a professor at university with the last name Shembry. What's your
Hmm.
dad's name?
I don't know if
Does
I
it-
can reveal that
Does it
on
start? What letters does it start with?
G
Okay, definitely wasn't him.
or J. Because if you haven't seen it written, then it might start with a J.
No, it doesn't start with J.
Okay.
It definitely doesn't start with. His
Alright.
name started with a P. So yeah, it was
Hmm.
interesting.
Interesting.
I was like,
It's a
that
rare
wouldn't
name.
that wouldn't really be very likely because I know you're not from Brisbane and my university was in Brisbane.
Oh,
But
yes.
it would have been quite funny.
no. I mean,
It's not
Shembry's.
a particularly common last name.
But surprisingly, I get a lot of people being like, "Oh, is this your cousin?" And I'm like,
No.
Like there are
There are other.
a few
Shembrys,
Shembrys.
yeah.
The Maltese have spread
It's the same
themselves
like
out.
me. Like my last name's not that common, but
You still find
I still, you
yourself
still
getting
find
asked.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, that was an interesting time at university.
Yeah, I should probably finish my degree at some point.
Yeah, that would definitely be a good idea.
It's a good thing to get done, but Counter-Strike does come first, and the grind never stops.
Yeah.
So you really, just
I
haven't
think
had
I
the
was
time.
lucky in the sense that I got into esports like kind of at the time when my university degree was starting to finish. So I was able to finish it and then sort of go straight into esports instead of have to put it off, which
Yeah.
I don't know how my parents would have felt about that. I'm not sure your parents would have been particularly keen.
It depends which one you ask. Deb is very happy that I'm following my dreams.
Mhm.
Jeffrey, which is why I said it might start with a G or a J.
Yep, yeah, true.
So sorry, Jeff, let your name go on stream.
Yeah.
Jeff was a little bit questioned my decision.
Mhm.
But I think he's kind of seen now that Counter-Strike is quite legit, and I've traveled the world playing a computer game, which is kind of he's a gamer.
Yeah.
He brought me up as a gamer.
Yeah.
It's his dream, so I think he's kind of
That's pretty cool.
proud of me that.
It was so relatively supportive from your side of things at least.
Yeah. I mean, definitely not the worst
Oh yeah.
reaction that I've heard. A lot of parents are somewhat not supportive of.
What's your advice to like an up and coming player that, like, let's say they have parents that don't necessarily agree with it? How do you convince them?
I mean, you have to listen to your parents as well, like, because they just want to do what's best for you. Like, they're trying to make you. It really depends. Like, for example, if I'd started this when I was in high school, I'm certain my parents would have been like, "All right, we need to stop this. You need to finish your high school." But since like I was at high school and I was then at finished high school and doing well at uni, they were kind of okay with it. And then once they saw that I could kind of explore the world a little bit and not have to pay for it and play computer games, they were like, "Hey, that's pretty cool."
That's pretty cool. Do they kind of like follow along? Like, do they like follow you on social media, have a look around and see what's going on, or are they pretty hands off?
Pretty like dad will often send me a little message in our little we got a family WhatsApp group, and
that's cool.
Jeff will send a message through and be like, "Oh, nice round, like nice game there." He gets all the terminology wrong because I haven't taught him, so he'll be like, he thinks that the rounds in Counter-Strike are called games, so like he'll be like, "Man, game 12, like."
That's a lot of games.
You idiot, Jeff. But yeah, he'll be like, "Yeah, you made him. You shouldn't have picked there." And I'll be like,
You don't even know. You don't even play this game.
Oh, Dad, you meant to tell me that I did well.
Yeah.
But I think he watches it on the train home from work. He kind of
Right.
just, if there's a game on,
That's
he'll
pretty cool.
chuck it on. Yeah, which is, it's nice to have that kind of support. But, he also does play soccer, and
Mm.
I used to go and watch all his soccer games when I was a kid, so
Yeah.
he actually owes me, all
He
right?
does. Yeah, I agree.
Watching those games,
Well, I was a little bit
Not
different
great.
because I never watched any of my dad's games. Like, he stopped playing. Like, I was playing cricket when I was a kid. My dad used to play cricket when he was a kid, but obviously I could never watch that. So
hmm,
I feel like I probably owe him, but there's nothing really that he does that you would watch.
get him into sport, mate. Jeff's almost a 60. He's almost a senior, and he's
Mm.
playing soccer. So,
Yeah, my dad's a little bit over 60.
yeah, he
So-
could play some cricket.
I'm sure he could. I'm sure he'd do
You
pretty
just
well.
maybe you could do a nice little duo league with him. Go and join a team together.
Well, it's a little bit hard because he lives in Brisbane. I live in Sydney.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
I've
that actually is pretty
my,
harsh.
my parents pretty supportive. They like to watch me doing some of the casting. Been trying to get them down to the IAM Sydney a couple of years in a row. Didn't quite make it last time, which was disappointing because casting in the
Yeah.
arena would have been great for them to have a look at it. But
Oh,
no
that would've been
family,
so cool.
2 years in a row. Going to have to do it next year, I'm sure. If there is IAM Sydney,
Yeah, don't want to let anything slip,
wouldn't
but
want to let anything slip.
hopefully, I mean, with the way that it's gone the past 2 years, I can't imagine
Yeah.
them not wanting to do it again. The crowd reaction, obviously all the support from everyone in Australia, I guess.
Yeah.
Everyone coming out for it. It's
Like,
been
I don't
so
know.
insane.
I don't know, man. Like, you make Katowice a major. Why not make IAM Sydney a major? You know
Honestly,
what I'm saying?
honestly, yeah,
Sydney's a pretty good place.
Yeah. I
reckon.
agree. IAM Sydney we've had one of the best crowds, arguably, I would say.
I would say. I think Katowice is a pretty good crowd, though. It always
Oh,
has.
yeah.
I mean, have you
Oh,
ever
yeah.
played at Katowice?
No, I've only played there for an ESEA event, which
Right.
didn't have a crowd. But
yeah.
the studios themselves there are really nice, like the ESL studios there, and I mean the atmosphere in Katowice is like it's such a I always
Yeah.
mispronounce that city, but it's such a nice place, and I imagine, and from what I've heard, the tournament there is like
Mm.
crazy.
Someone's dropped their knife, Malta. That's
Yeah, I
unfortunate.
didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, I was looking at that thinking, how's that happen? He must have disconnected holding the knife, or?
Well, I think it's a server command you can put in CL_ drop knife or something
Oh.
like that. Which came out. Yeah, it's been in the game for a little bit, but
you go.
usually you have it turned to 0 because it's just annoying if
Mm.
you're like dropping guns. Then
So then you
Knife
just
goes
run around
flying.
with nothing?
yeah,
You just have hands out, or?
no, I think you just it's like Quake, but you can't shoot.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but okay, yeah. So Katowice, like I was there for this year's Katowice, not casting Counter-Strike. I was casting something else. But I was able to take a peek into the arena on one match. And I got to see like 3 rounds. I think it was Fnatic and Na'Vi, might have been. I don't even know if Fnatic and Na'Vi played against each other, but I do remember it was Fnatic. I can't remember who they were playing against. But yeah, it was pretty cool. There was a lot of people there. Like when you look
Yeah.
at IEM Sydney and you go in the crowd, you're like, okay, there's a lot of people here. But then Katowice was like, holy moly, there's a lot of people here. Like
Really, more than
yeah.
Sydney?
Oh yeah, heaps more.
Oh,
The stadium was massive, man. It was like double the size of IEM Sydney. It felt
damn.
like.
Because I am
so-
Sydney was pretty. Like I feel like both years in a row, I was pleasantly surprised by the amount of people there.
IEM Sydney has a pretty good turnout, that is for sure. But compared
Yeah.
to Katowice, yeah. I think the difference is though for Katowice you can get into for free. So there is that.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
Oh, that is well. I mean, that's cheating.
Yeah.
If we made a free event, come on.
I think it's part of
But-
the deal with like the venue.
Okay.
So obviously they keep going back to the same venue, but then they get that many people in and whatever. I think the city actually has something to do with it as well. I'm not really sure, to be
Yeah.
honest, on the specifics. But yeah, to my understanding, you can buy tickets that like allow you to go in like first and stuff, and so you can always get a seat and you can always get a good seat. But then they kind of open it up, like you can come in for free from like, let's say you go in at 9:30 as a ticket buyer.
Yeah.
Then from 10 o'clock, the free
Everyone else
tickets
is
can
in.
kind of go in and sit wherever.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's definitely how it should work. You kind of want it to be accessible to just like the general public and everyone. So then also people who aren't into esports, like for example, if I'm like, hey mom, like I want to go to this event, it's
Yeah.
free, do you want to come? And then your parents or your friends, they say, well, there's no risk in, if they have to pay $150 to, it's a bit of, there's
Yeah,
risk
it's a bit
there.
of risk. But on the same token, like there would be then the expectation in some places that you could actually sell out the place anyway. Like for example, IEM Sydney sells very, very
Yeah,
well.
that's true.
And if you were to say, okay, well you can get in for free, like 50% or maybe even more, people would just say, look, we'll come
Yeah.
in late, and there goes a big chunk of your income.
Oh, definitely from the organizer's point of view,
Mm.
it's not the smart way, but
It
from
depends on where it is.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Australia, I think the Australian public has on average, has quite a large disposable income to
Yeah,
spend on
Compared
tournament.
to a lot of other places, for
Yeah.
sure.
So lots of money just waiting to be spent on stuff,
On
which
esports.
yeah, on esports.
But then even like, for example, IEM Shanghai is an even different ballgame because that's in an expo as well.
Yeah,
So
it's
like, I
such a
guess you must
weird-
pay to get into the expo and then you can just watch IEM Shanghai.
It's a weird setting because, like, to have a tournament in an expo, I've played it one before, and it's a lot of people who aren't there, like specifically for Counter Strike, and that's what's so beautiful about IEM Sydney is that, or like because that's the only IEM that I've attended, apart from Shanghai, is you're there with all these people who all have a similar interest, which is Counter Strike, and they're all there to watch the Counter Strike.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're at an expo like that, it's a lot of people who you get a lot of exposure to people who aren't from Counter Strike, who don't know what Counter Strike is.
Yeah.
So you might be able to discover some new, or like people might discover Counter Strike who previously haven't. But at the same time, it's very strange.
Yeah, for me, like going around IEM Sydney is a pretty weird experience because it feels like if I walk around in public, like no one knows who I am. But if I
Yeah.
walk around at IEM Sydney,
You're famous.
I feel like 50% of the people know who I am and then start coming up to me and going, "Oh, hi, how you going?" Like I'm like, I don't even know you. It's a very, very weird experience. I'm sure you probably
Yeah.
get the same, to be
Oh
honest.
man, it's like the best 2-3 days of my life.
Yeah.
I just walk around and it's like, "Oh Liam, what's up, dude?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh hey, what's up, man?"
You feel like a superstar.
They ask for a signature, sign some stuff, and yeah, you feel like a celebrity for those 3 days, and then you go back to being normal
Yep.
afterwards, which is nice.
To be fair, it's probably
good.
the ideal world. You wouldn't want to be a celebrity all the time.
No, can you
Like,
imagine?
It gets old, I'm sure.
Wow, like the amount of people who just like actors and stuff. I mean, can you imagine? Let
Yeah,
alone
no.
like paparazzi.
You wouldn't be able to go outside. I
Yeah.
reckon being an esports celebrity is probably one of the best ways. Like, because
Yeah.
when you're at your events and when you're there in the context of your job, then people know who you are. But like, let's be honest, like walking around the street, no one knows who like. You know, like let's say, I mean, not 90% of people wouldn't know who like Olaf Meister or Nico is walking around on the street. Unless they're a Counter-Strike fan, but how many Counter-Strike fans are there? So realistically, you're not going to get recognized on the street as a pro player or something like that. I don't think.
Yeah, no, probably not.
Like, it would happen, but it would definitely not happen to the same frequency as, like, Brad Pitt or, like, Will Smith or something.
No, I think it would happen just enough to
For it to be kind of cool?
Yeah, for it to be cool, and then but not enough for you to just get frustrated and be like, all right, like, you know,
Yeah.
as much as you like want to interact with your fans as much as possible. If you're out buying a coffee, and
Oh, I can
you
see
get
why it would get
swarmed,
annoying, for
yeah.
sure.
I mean, this is I mean, we're talking Hollywood actor level here. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Leonardo DiCaprio goes to buy a bagel, and just 30 people, like all these paparazzi trying to take photos of him. They're all trying to just make money off, you know, you embarrassing yourself somehow in a photo.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't be too fun. All right, guys. Look, we've been having some fun here, just having a chat, doing the Liam and Jordan podcast, but unfortunately it does look like these issues are going to take a little bit longer to fix than anticipated. So we're going to throw to a break. Don't go anywhere. The game will be back as soon as